I wish there was something on this that you could stay on. Yeah. But that's why I like this.
Right. Set time to where.
I don't. Everyone. Eight oh three. Start the non-official 22 meeting will be called to order. Any agenda additions that need to be added?
I have one. Well, I have a couple. You want me to add those too? Yes, okay. I sent out in your packets, the building permit for down in Colgate. I I did not put it on the agenda, but it's in your packet. So we're just gonna put her under time allows, Amy, for that building permit approval. Talking with Russell, we have a couple others that we need to add. Finley's 125th celebration. As well as Catherine's resignation from the Agassiz Valley Human Service Zone Board. We'll need to appoint another individual to that board.
I'd like to add just a brief discussion under extension about hiring or some interviews we had, just to give the commission a quick update.
Anything else?
Motion to approve with the adjustment.
Motion and a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. All read the minutes, and everything else. Any corrections or additions to the minutes?
I
That
got
will
one,
be both of them with special meeting also.
got one correction on the gravel bids. You got Commissioner Richards instead of Commissioner Stroud. It's pretty small. I just want.
Okay,
Second.
Got a second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Okay, maybe we'll jump right into you there, so if you wanna step up there, there's a little button on it.
Yes.
Okay,
I wanted to start with just giving a quarterly update. I have my quarterly report for you guys. What I've been up to in the extension office, it covers it. And then looking forward, working on getting ready for achievement days. I need to revive the advisory council for the extension office, so that's also on my list of doings for this next quarter. But achievement days will take a big chunk of what's gonna happen for April, May, June on. So do you guys have any questions for me?
I read your newsletter there, you are starting to get busy too.
Yeah.
We'll give Ted and I and Megan interviewed.
Yeah.
Friday. We had 2 applicants. Right now, at this point, I think we're going to discuss with Charlie some, see what best way to approach is. If not, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. We got some decisions to make of that exact position. Finding somebody to fill that 25 hours a week. So we should have some sort of plan.
Okay.
How we're gonna keep going with that or what we're gonna do, so. That work for you?
Yep.
Okay.
By the end of the week.
Yeah.
Anything else, Megan, you got?
I like to keep it short and sweet.
So do we have pretty good candidates for that job?
One good one, and the other one showed signs or could use improvements.
That was put in nicely.
Well, if you have nothing else, Megan, thank you and stuff. Keep up the good work.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Megan.
Are you gonna let us know in an email or what, or text or something on who you hired then or what?
Yes, I can give you an update on if we hire you.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yes.
Megan.
you're welcome.
Next is auditor.
So in your packets, was the correspondence I received from Sharon Township. I just wanted to make sure you guys review that, if you had any comments or not. I know a lot probably or possibly has changed with the flooding in the meantime.
Is it washed out now or is it just rusted?
I'm not sure.
It's on a township road. Must be.
This was before the rain and.
Yes, this was
April
sent
6th.
at the beginning of April.
Oh. Yeah, it's probably- Well,
13 and 24.
maybe we should have Reed go out and check on it and report back to us. If there's damage, we can maybe turn it into FEMA.
If somebody would maybe respond to him. I would-
Look at it tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. So by the sound of this email, he just wants to go out and buy their own instead of buying it through the county, right?
Well, I think he's wanting us to help on it. Or pay for it the way it looks, furnish and install. I think he just mentioned that he got a quote for it. And that's the price. I think they want us to put it in and install it. Install and purchase, I should say.
I think it'd be best just to go assess that
Yep,
situation.
I think so.
See what exactly is going on. before we-
And it's on a county road?
Township.
Isn't that their liability?
I don't know if this. Charlie, have you got that letter from Ben Big?
Who was in the packet?
Where is this with?
I'm not sure. Section 13 and 24. See those little numbers in here. Look up top there in the very top. Yes.
That one right there, yeah. Yeah,
Right by their farm, I would imagine.
You're all right.
he's on the west side of number 7.
You should check into that and see if that's really says it's our responsibility.
The replacement of the culvert.
Century code. We'll go and assess it and see what it looks like.
Is it a adjacent to a county road? Is it a crossing or connection?
No,
No,
So, yeah, just so I know where is it at?
section 13 and 14.
Oh,
Excuse me,
top
13 and
left.
24, top left.
13
We
and
have top.
24. Sure, yeah.
13 and
So where is that?
24.
13
Right.
and 24.
Go up a little bit, right there, no, down a little bit, right,
13.
down a little bit.
24 from here.
Yeah,
And then where is it? This,
I think, well, it's right on the middle.
It's gotta be right on the river there.
Yeah, right on the creek.
right here?
No, left,
Over
right
right here?
right
Right
there.
up in there, yeah.
And where's, where, that's the culvert is?
Yes,
Yeah.
And this isn't a county road here?
no, that's the creek.
It takes care of a lot of water.
Yeah.
Through this stuff like that, yeah. Yeah. Well, I got a couple people looking at that stuff and everything else, so. Anything else you got, Emily?
Well, I put under my stuff just the recommendation from the interview committee for that preliminary design. Engineering services, the interviews we did just to try to separate out all of the projects we're going to be talking about today. And before Mike is here, since he is one of the firms we interviewed, but the selection committee met, we interviewed both Interstate and Ackerman. And scored them based off the scoring. We recommend, or the memo recommends, that the commission vote to approve Interstate Engineering for the preliminary design engineering services for that project. And that is for the bridge.
Okay. We don't need any other motions.
Well, we'd
Need a
have to make a
motion.
motion to approve their hiring them.
Oh, after you guys already did that. so-
We've made-
Well,
we
we
could
just,
only-
that board is recommending to the commission.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on this?
I would make a motion that we accept Interstate Engineering for that bridge project.
We got a motion.
I'll second it.
And a second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
We can discuss either under the road department if you want to continue that route, or now with the request for proposals. We have the construction engineering services proposals that were due last week. We received 3 proposals for that. So we'll need to set up a date and have the interview committee interview those 3 firms as well. Do we want to, for good measure, make a motion to appoint the interview committee again? The same people, unless there's other people who'd like to sit on that committee. 3 firms we got were Webster, Foster, and Weston out of Grand Forks, Interstate Engineering, and then Ackerman. S-fold again.
What was this project again?
This is for the paving.
I suggest we use the same committee if everybody's still got time to do that.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Motion on the floor, we got second to Richard's motion.
I'll second.
That seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Is there a certain date this has to be done by? Someone?
Sooner the better,
This
so we can
month.
get them working on
Mhm.
the project.
Well, yeah, because then it'll have to come back to you guys again to approve or to,
We probably will have to have a special meeting for that. Otherwise, it's gonna be a June meeting.
Mhm.
So I would guess we'd have to have a Zoom meeting probably
That's
for that.
fine. That's fine.
We don't want to slow up
No. Get them on. it.
production on that.
Our next meeting is until June 7th, so
What's, what's everybody's calendar look like?
We do. Soon.
I think we should get it done
Yeah,
as soon as
because
possible.
The sooner the better.
why not do Wednesday? That's the only day I'd
When?
request not to do it Wednesday.
So now we got Thursday or Friday,
12th?
12th.
Let's do the 12th.
Okay, do you want in,
So we got 3 this time.
we have 3
We should
this
probably
time,
start at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, do you want 45-minute timeframes instead of the hour?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will do.
so that's Richard, Brandon, Reed, Ben, and Emily. Right? Okay, on May 12th, 1 o'clock.
Thank you. That's all I have.
So we jumped on into veteran service officer, that's that.
Sure.
I got a call from Myron Broder, helping out the Dennis with the vets van as far as the scheduling and everything else and stuff. On May 12th, he's got 3 people that need to go to appointments. We got 2 vans and we've got 3 drivers, but we need another vehicle. He was wondering if he should use his own or use one of the county's vans we got here or a vehicle or whatever, but he's willing to drive his own vehicle too, and he will be the one driving the county van here stuff, so.
We have a county van here they could take.
We have the old vet service van still. It's just in the county's name as opposed to vet services at this point, so
See, one of the paid drivers.
Yes, he is, yep. He's been doing all the scheduling now and stuff, and if Dennis gets a call or his wife does, then they just relay it to Myron. Myron's the oldest guy on that's a driver now and stuff, and everything too.
I think it'd be best from a liability standpoint. to have him drive the county.
Right, yep. So I suppose we should have county guys check the van out to make sure everything's up to par for him and stuff.
you want me to do that?
Yeah, if you would reach out to Reed and stuff.
Um,
And we got insurance on it, I'm sure.
we
he's-
do.
Everything's happening, so.
Myron's come in a lot. He's kind of handling the vet service stuff.
We gotta thank him for that.
Yeah. We've been, the girls, we've updated the website, Facebook, trying to get calls avoid going to Dennis. So they're not hassled with that. End of month paperwork, all of that reimbursement to the VA that needs to be sent, all of that we're working with Myron on. So just to update everybody on that.
Do you have a
don't know.
person that Dennis contacts in Fargo?
Yes, I was talking with Myron yesterday about
Oh.
that, and I did update them too on
Okay,
the situation with Dennis. I
okay,
updated Fargo. I don't know if anybody's reached, I mean, did anybody reach out to the family at all?
Also on that business, Myron is a veteran and he is willing to take over Dennis's job. So I don't know how this will go, Charlie. How does this work or what, or can we just appoint him or
Well,
do we have to
so we
post
don't,
it or what?
yeah, we don't know what Dennis's status is,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah,
Can we just appoint Myron as a time being until,
I think.
Just do that for
we
now.
can Appoint it. on an emergency basis,
Yeah.
interim. So,
okay.
One other thing, we could consider forwarding any emails that come in for Dennis
I think.
for
we
a
should
period
just-
of time. The problem, the only issue there that I see is Myron does not touch a computer at all. So,
We need to forward them to probably your office or maybe Charlie's office. I don't know. Forward them to somebody, just, the family doesn't need that right now.
No,
so. How the contents of the email. Provided.
I'd assume it was
Somebody's gonna have to
printed out.
monitor and then print it out for them. Does your office have time to help out with that? With Myron?
We're definitely willing to help.
That might be the best, but you're here all the time and then,
We can do it, but it's a matter of. We're in my own email, so I have to print them out.
right. So maybe we'll just run it to Emily's office right now. If there's anything that Charlie needs to look at, oh, he can forward it to Charlie as well.
if there's something, I suppose I'll just have to call Myron or whatever, you know, from there, you know. Let him know what's going on, you know. I don't know if his wife does any computer stuff or what.
I don't think so.
Is it a lot of emails usually or?
I have no idea.
Well. Forward them to your email. for now and then-
Generally, all the paperwork aspect of the vet van and the reimbursements.
I suppose
and
the state. and the
That all
federal's
goes
on,
by
yeah.
email to them.
So we really don't have any other options, so
Yeah.
forward it to your email for now and then
Okay.
I'll make that motion. We appoint Myron as an interim.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second on the floor about Myron Rucker being into vets officer now. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
That is something we need to revisit once we know more about Dennis's status. Because we're gonna, you know, we're gonna want to advertise. I also suggest a motion on allowing veteran services to use the county registered vehicle. So because the vans that they have now, those are registered under veteran services.
Correct.
Yeah, so you just to allow use of the county vehicle from a record standpoint, would be a good idea.
Okay,
so
Second.
got another motion on the floor of allowing the vets service organization use the Steele County van. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And the reason for that is that there's a permissive user clause in auto policies where if you're definitely a permissive user, then you're covered by the liability insurance.
we just have one van that has a ramp, automatic ramp on it.
Two of them.
They've got two,
Well, the two
I
new
thought they
ones
said
have-
they had two
Two, yeah.
Fords.
Yep. Two.
That's
So doesn't that just equate to one vehicle?
Pardon me? Fix or repair daily?
Do we want Wayne here for this Barnes County Prisoner Board thing?
I don't think so. Do you?
Is it just normal, the regular contract? Then I
Yes.
don't think so. Doesn't matter.
Is it pretty much the same as what we had with
Did
Trail
Charlie,
County over there?
did you look it over, Charlie?
Yeah, it did. It looks to be the same as the one we always have, but. Do we know if this is imminent, or we need to, is there a deadline where the other last one is expiring? Or-
Carly?
She just walked in.
Oh. She might know.
I don't know if the dollar figures.
Yeah, hi, sorry. Do you know that Barnes County contract? Is that because the other one was expiring, or do you know why?
I didn't look into it, I just figured it was expired, but I can look into it.
It looks like they're not referencing an expiration date of the old one, it might be.
Is this just because Barnes County just got the new building up and running and they were looking for?
Right, I.
No, we've had the contracts and stuff.
Yeah, we've had contracts with them before.
With them before, yeah.
Since this new building.
Since the new one we have?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
So
it's really nice. I haven't been inside, but it looks good.
Is the prices going up?
I would assume.
I think we just, we sign it and then whether we bring it to them or wherever, I mean, it's just so that we can bring people to them.
So we have the option.
Somewhere, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, so let me elaborate, is it last, well, since, basically since COVID, the Trail County jail has been closed.
Yeah.
And since then, there's been new regulations that have been put in place that effectively are, the trail wants to reopen. They need to have 2 full-time jailers, quote unquote, or law enforcement on site in order to, and possibly, they likely have to have 3 just because of the amount of hours involved. And that is proving to be
Tough to find.
really tough, and Trail hasn't even made the decision whether they want.
Are they still closed?
That's people that sell our hotel. We're having a hard, difficult time, both Trail and Steele, in finding beds. So one of the things that I've talked with Edmund and Steve Hunt about Shareholder Trail is there a way that we can negotiate some dedicated space with some of these jails? We literally have times when we'll Steele and Trail, when someone should be going to jail, nothing available, and you know, the counties who have the correctional centers are biased to their own needs, so I can't fault them for that. But, so we have no guarantee of beds, and this Barnes County contract doesn't give us a guarantee of beds either. So we're talking about that. If Trail never opens up again, it's a long-term thing that we're gonna try to solve. So
I think it'd be worth looking into that, Charlie, to see,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
what we're
whether they're gonna give you anything. Because we're, you know, obviously, we're not the only counties that contract with them also. But maybe, you know,
Well, obviously, though, they're gonna wanna take, I mean, if they have room, they're gonna wanna take to help pay for that place.
Sure.
But if they're gonna take care of themselves first.
And
Oh, yeah.
maybe that we just enter into this contract.
I think we almost have to.
There's no dates or deadlines or anything like that on there, no mandatory use or that type of thing, no monthly cost to us right now. But moving forward, we're gonna continue to look at that issue.
well, maybe if you're combining the power of both counties, that you can wiggle room with per se Barnes County or Grand Forks or wherever, whatever, you know.
you know, something that's probably gonna have to be addressed as part of the budget process too, because.
Did we ever go to Stutzman?
I know we had to bring somebody there not so long ago.
No, right now, we're pretty much willing to take them
Anywhere.
Anywhere,
We've
yeah.
had people at Devil's Lake, we've had them in Fargo, we've had them in Grand Forks, Barnes, Stutzman, and we're basically, if we need a bed, we will call. Just to find a spot.
Oh, we have that old cell out here. Don't we, Rick? We could put it through a tarp over
So that's
it.
just an FYI, this contract is just basically an update, it looks like
It's just a normal contract, probably.
it doesn't bind us anything, but it won't preclude us from continuing to have those discussions with various correctional centers.
Yeah.
Which we're going to have, because
Right, yeah.
None of them will maybe even commit though the way we want them
they
to.
may not.
I mean, they can't probably.
And, yeah, we might have to have an executive session about that next coming months. So you guys know.
So should we approve that contract for now?
Well, I don't even know,
Or do you want to
I
research
wish
it
I knew
more?
what,
Maybe we should.
I wish I knew what the genesis of it was.
I think it's just a,
Did they just send it over?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
School
just
with
got it.
prison.
I just had automatically assumed our contract with them, but I can look into it quick.
we've done them before. I think we've done them every
We
year.
do them
I
all the
think.
time. Yeah.
You can find the old contract.
I thought so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do it every year.
I didn't know if this was a normal yearly thing or.
I think it is.
I think it is, yeah.
I remember doing it before, but
I can see them wanting to do it. Increasing costs.
should we move on to something else until she finds?
Yeah, we can do that. We want to do this, have Amy do this building permit.
Yeah, she's here.
Amy? They're all listening. Just give them a minute and they'll show up. Hi.
And she is here.
You got a building permit?
I do. It is for Colgate, 33 properties, which is owned in the.
Okay.
They are looking at creating a new grain handling facility, and future agronomy facility.
We got
Estimated value is 4 million. Everything looked good with it. They probably one of the only people that have actually submitted the actual like plans of it,
Looks
which is
good.
nice to see. Do you guys have any questions on?
Well, this is straight east of you, Ted, you said?
Straight east of me.
Northeast of, or northwest of, in that township, right?
Colgate,
Of
yeah,
Colgate.
up Colgate, yeah.
So it's not in town, that's right.
No, it's half mile north, 3/4, no, half mile, I suppose, from Muse's farm.
Okay.
Over on that corner by the railroad tracks.
But east of the
Further east.
railroad tracks, a mile,
Oh,
not quite.
this is all on their own then.
It's on their own land. Yep,
Nice.
Everything from their farmland is, or by their houses is coming out.
that's what they want, yeah.
Okay.
They've talked about it for years, but yeah, this is gonna be quite a complex that they've got.
Mhm.
So it meets all the setbacks and everything. I'll make a motion to approve.
Looks pretty impressive.
Second,
Yeah, it is.
And a motion and second on the building permit for Muse on their remodel project. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I have to sign this.
Yes, please.
Anything else you got, Amy?
Do you guys want me to kind of go over the GIS stuff now, or wait and see if there's time.
The joint
State
powers
GIS.
agreement with NDACO from last month that was tabled. You guys wanted some input from Amy and Ben.
Part of it, or just do it?
He just said you could call him down if you have more questions on it, but he kind of sits where I'm at right now. I mean, I think it will be a good program. The only thing kind of concerned that it is just starting. It's not supposed to take over our current GIS. So it's kind of an addition on to what we already have. So Ben also agrees to maybe wait and see how the program runs for a little bit before we sign on. It's a lot of money.
How much was it? Can you give me a reminder?
3,000,
3375.
33.75, yep,
Per year?
yes.
And about that, he gets asked me to talk to him about that, but they do it. And he said.
So there's not enough information out there,
I agree. I think we will let it ride for a while and see how it comes about.
especially if because we're still gonna be maintaining our own database, what we already have currently.
I think we're always in.
Yeah. I mean, which would be nice if they eventually started taking that over, but it doesn't sound like they're going to. They'd be too swamped, basically, and they don't have enough manpower.
I think the goal of it was that all the information was in one place for counties, from county to county. From 911, moving on.
I think just my understanding of going over what they sent out, that is their plan to eventually have it all go into one. But currently, it's not gonna take over what we have already.
Right, it's an addition.
It's an addition to what we have. The only, like, the things that this program will have that we don't have is it is listing all the roads, all address points, which is not on our GIS currently. Emergency service data set, we don't have that currently. So there are things that this does have that is beneficial to us, because I don't have access to a 911 program right now to get addresses if I need them.
That's where I was saying last month that it would, at least from our office and election standpoint, that's very
So
beneficial.
it is beneficial, but
But in certain situations, maybe it's not.
it may be best just to wait a little bit to see how the program runs before we sign a yearly agreement with them.
Okay, let's do that. Let's wait.
Wait
I think
and
we
see.
will.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
Let's wait and
Wait a
see how
month
it
or
goes.
two
If
and
we
see
need,
how,
if
if we
it's
hear
something that
anything.
we need to,
I just don't think it's absolutely necessary at the moment.
perfect.
We'll go that way.
Yep,
Okay, you guys agree?
thanks.
Yep. Yes, agree.
Equalization meetings all went well. Yeah, they come to you first. Next month is the county equalization.
What does that mean again?
June,
That our commission.
it's like
Yes.
June 7th at 10 a.m.
Board members, anything? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
We'll figure something out here.
Okay.
What do we got? This Colonial Life at 9 o'clock, what's that?
He called and wanted to meet regarding what services they could provide to the employees of the county, at no cost to the county, but as an elective option for the employees.
So I can have fun.
Correct.
Have we
I
met
spoke
him
with
before?
Char, huh?
Have we met with him before?
I don't believe so. I haven't. Spoke with Charlie. We decided that I would meet with him the day he was going to be around. So I met with him. He requested to have time on the agenda. Carly and I sat through what he had to say. As far as our standpoint and take on it, everything that he had right now, the only thing that could possibly benefit the employees that we saw was the coverages that are equal with Aflac. They offer the same coverages at slightly lower rates from what we saw, but that's our 2 cents on what we got out of it. But he did want to speak with the board about it. So should be brief. And you can decide whether you want to go with that or not.
Is that a scenario where if we commission were to approve them as a third-party vendor like that, when they come in for potential meetings, that all employees have to either meet with them or sign off, they have the opportunity to meet with them and desire not to or chose not to? We have to do that before.
We can ask him.
Is that how we have to?
The Aflac does that currently.
So it'll be the same.
So
Well, let's jump down to Finley's 125th celebration. You got some information on that, Emily?
I thought you did when you wanted to add it.
No, but I was in the minutes and everything else and stuff, and it's a month away, so I think
Yes.
we probably should do something, because it's already on the posters that we
Right.
are having something, right?
Yep, we discussed
Okay.
that we are gonna do games and food on the front lawn. From 11
Did you
on.
get any sponsors?
We potentially are looking at donations for some of the food items, but not all of them. I have not asked the 2 businesses. Hi. I'll speak with them after the meeting today, see if they're willing to donate, but no, we've gotten a list together. There's a meeting this week of any employees that wish to participate. We did not get responses from all the employees, but we do have a few that are absolutely willing to help. There's enough to get it done. Yes. So
Well, I think
How much
whatever
you-
it comes to, I'm sure we can find some,
How much you figure?
whatever it's gonna be, so.
it depends on how much somebody had reached out to a different entity to see if they would donate some of the food items. So if we get that donation from the food items, that will decrease the cost quite a bit. Just a couple hundred, I'm thinking. Not much.
One thing that that's come up for me when, given that this is an election year, and it's a county sponsored event prior to the election, we have several contested positions, whether it be on the commission or auditor, or wherever else, is that I think we'd be consider formally inviting all ballot candidates to participate as much, not the campaign, but to participate in being here. Would like to, if at all, they don't want to be, but they don't want it to look like it's
Well, it's a public deal. I suppose they can come if they want.
You know what? I could absolutely post that we're looking for volunteers. If people want to come help out with the celebration at the courthouse, please contact us.
I think it would be appropriate for us to specifically reach out to anyone like that.
So who would you like? Are you going to do that or?
I can do that if I get contact.
Mhm.
So, Sounds
or
good.
the chairman or,
Yeah. I mean, it's a public event,
yeah, I mean,
whatever.
Can, campaign all you want.
The other thing with that is the parade is probably gonna be a couple hours long this year. We're blocking off 200. Beckman is getting something written up that the city and the county sign up or whatever to, so we have access roads to get out if somebody's caught in it. He thinks we have to go all the way out to 6 and down and over, because you have to have 2 trucks be able to pass each other on the road. We're gonna have a couple of the streets in town. The people that live on them streets, we'll let them know they can't park on the street that day, that kind of thing. It's gonna be a couple hours is all, but
So they're gonna block the roads, like say out Pickard Road,
yeah, it's actually gonna come through.
23.
I don't know if it'd be Pickard. I think if they go,
That's
well,
a
yeah,
road.
I
It's
I
not
guess it's
Pickard.
gotta be there, yeah.
The Pickard Road, 20,
Yeah, he's got it,
23.
he's got it figured out. He just says everybody's got to sign off on it, so.
Like Larimore, when they had their parade, you just end up in the parade.
That's one of the joys of having a highway,
Yeah.
state highway going through town.
She, the flyers are out, should be in the mail. Everybody should have them maybe today or tomorrow or something, but it has the parade route on it. It's a little bit bigger than normal, a little longer, I should say. So I think it's gonna be pretty big. He said the 75th was like 2.5 hours long.
Wow.
So
that would be,
11.
yeah, I was like 9, 10, 11, 11. 9th through the 12th is Finley, 125th. Correct, June.
Kind of hard when you got 2 state highways coming through town here and stuff. Just jump from here to here to, and then you got other traffic coming both ways to.
Well, I don't know if that's a new rule or not, where 2 trucks got to pass on the road to be able to do it, but otherwise it'd be pretty simple, but
Some of those townships are roads are pretty tight for some trucks. Though.
yeah, we were thinking where it's Trump, that's whatever, is that 4, I think? No way you can get 2 on that, so.
That'd be a mile before 4.
Oh, sure. But I don't know who would stop them from going down there if they wanted to,
Right, yeah.
Well, that's why I asked, are they gonna barricade it off?
Yeah, but you can't really barricade all the roads up to 6 off.
No.
There'll be somebody posted at each spot to let them know though, too, the way it sounded, so. But
Also on the celebration.
I suppose he'll be hiring extra security because we have 3 bands this year. No charge for anything. Otherwise, it's just pretty much the same basic stuff, so.
Oh, lots of new stuff. There's a mechanical bull uptown.
Yeah, well, I told them not to do that, but they did it anyway. Last time we did that, some kid lost his teeth.
Oh, gosh. Since we have a few minutes, Charlie, did you want to discuss with them the Trail County mailer that you brought up?
Ken originally reached out to me about what, if anything, feels should consider or is considering relative to measures that are being put on the ballot. And there's probably not only in the state, there's a dealing with that road bill issue. So, and with trail right now, trails at 40 mil, we're at 20, right? Here. Right? We're at 20. Yep.
25.
25.
Yes. I don't have a ballot.
So,
Up to the max, yes.
okay, it does say that. We're at
No.
20 and we're asking for authority.
Up
We're
to go up
revising
to.
them, we're revising, we currently levy up to 20, and in order to continue to do so, we need a majority vote, right?
Yep.
And so what Trail is doing, because they don't get approval. Use Trail because of the roads and bridges they have to maintain there, but what they're doing is they prepared their engineer agreed to draft a flyer that can be put in the paper and sent out to residents to inform them of all the details and essentially why it's important to be able to continue to and so it's going to papers and also be sent out in a mass mailing to journalists. And they're having
Charlie, can you move closer,
and then they're having,
please?
I think they're having 4 or 5 town hall meetings around Trail County prior to the primary election in order to answer questions or, get more information. So that's what Trail's doing. I'm assuming that's what you were alluding to, Emily, right?
Well, we need to, the process is that I do need to publish the 2 ballot measures in the paper. I sent it to Charlie to see if we wanted to add anything or if he recommended adding anything other than the already approved ballot language that you guys have seen.
And I would.
So that's
when
what
you do-
prompted.
With respect to publishing, yeah, we just keep this, anything like this would be a separate, standalone type. And the thing about it is that you can spend tax dollars to provide factual information. You can't spend tax dollars to promote a yes or no vote. And so once the Trails engineer, their whatever marketing department or whatever, once they created it, and then I went and edited it because the initial version was pretty much promotion rather than just informative. So,
In situations, sometimes the analysis kind of explains a little more in depth what that ballot question involves. So
Looks like that we go authority up to 30 mils. We're at 25 right now.
we are at 25 right now.
the measure says what again? Up to 30?
Means you're in favor of levy authority up to 30 mils for road and bridge.
That's a yes. I believe the ballot, the measures for both Trail and Steele are basically identical, with just different numbers. So I worked with both commissions on those.
Well, if we can do that, I think that'd be a good idea to.
Well, we should talk to Mike and see if he could, I won't have this information.
It would be huge if we didn't have that.
If we didn't get the
Yeah.
majority vote,
Yeah.
it would be terrible, yeah. So that's why Trail, they're in the same boat, that's why they are trying to get, provide as much information to the public as possible. So do we want me to work with Mike's office and Emily's office on getting something like this done for Trail? I don't know if we have time to send out a mass mailing if we want more, but we certainly can put it in papers. And hang it around,
It'd probably be good if we could mail it though. I don't know if many people get the paper here anymore.
I think I think we can get it done.
We could post it on our website.
That as well.
Yeah,
Did the commission want to have a public meeting, or you want to just reach out yourselves to your neighbors and,
Well, I
Areas
was
and-
gonna start reaching out to everybody in my area, but that's up to you guys. What if you guys
have
want to?
Reed out? Ben, Reed? Touching base with people? About just offering ideas.
I mean, we really need to.
I think we put together some sort of, something like that.
Yeah.
Then the rest of us, you know, we've been already mentioning it already to some of the local people that this
Money?
is very important.
I think it should, the next commission meeting is prior to the primary, right?
Yep.
Maybe you want to think about having a open forum during that meeting to discuss this,
We sure could.
you
Yeah.
know, that way. So we're kind of up against the clock, but, or to discuss this whole issue and then measure, and then we also would get something like this prepared that could be used on social media and put in papers and posted places. I think we probably don't have enough time to mail. I can check into whether we have enough time to mail.
I think waiting till the meeting is really cutting it short. The majority of our votes are by mail.
Oh, yeah.
We have very limited, you know, the
Yeah,
percentage wise is low for day of voting that you would catch.
Good point.
So, and it also includes the extension. I don't know if you
Yep.
want to push that too,
Both.
the extension
Yeah.
mill levy. So just,
I know very little about that. Who's the best source of information? We're doing that because we don't levy for the extension right now.
We don't
need
levy,
funding.
we don't levy enough for what,
we levy the max amount currently allowed, which is 2 mils. We're at like 1.99 for extension services. By a vote, you can go up to 4 mils. So they would like to have that extra option of funding for extension services. And put it,
Well, maybe I should get some information from Megan about what services they provide. We can put that in a flyer as well. Makes sense?
I mean, when we had our meeting up with the school that time, everybody, I mean, there was quite a few people there. They were, they really wanted the extension to do more.
Okay, so where are we gonna leave this? We want to draft up a flyer for sure, right? And like I said, I don't know that email, that we'd be able to put.
It shouldn't take long to get that made up, I would think.
It took longer than I thought it was gonna, but then the question is what you want to do with it. And I think there's already requests for absentee ballots. Or you already sent that stuff out, right?
They're out. I got one.
the applications
Yeah.
for vote by mail are out.
Then how's that process? As soon as you get them in, you send them a ballot then? Or
No,
is there a specific date?
yep,
When
we just got our ballots, so it's not, they're not going out yet. It'll be a little bit.
So when would they go
You want me to sign into the election calendar?
up? Oh,
No, it's a process still. It's gonna be probably another week and a half before they go out. So,
You guys have a department that can do something like that?
That's what the park, yeah. Parking department.
Yeah, that's came from Kale. It's something similar to this for. For,
to continue our
First deal.
measure for,
I mean, does that make sense to you to get the information out there as much as possible as to what we're
Yeah.
up against and.
Every county is doing a little different. Most of it is just getting information out.
I'll work on that, hopefully have something in the early next week, hopefully. You know, I mean, I plagiarize that as much as you want, because I had a lot to do with that. So.
I still think we should do probably a mailing out if possible,
if we can get it out soon.
Yep.
if we can get it out.
I can check into that, like Trail's doing that, and so what they did, what their auditor's office did was they were involved in that flyer too. There's a joint effort of a lot of different departments, but then they checked in, Glenda Hogan, the auditor there, checked in with the post office, I think, to see how much a mailing would be, and then ordered paper, some, I guess it's some sort of gloss or especially paper,
Cardstock.
and then they have the original that they'll print those in Trail themselves, and then they'll go in the mail. And I want to say it was like, I feel like she said something like $1,300. That's Trail, and that's what, twice, 3 times.
Yeah, you basically pick zip codes to send it out to. The,
So you want to try to make a run at that and see if we can get it done in the next couple weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will coordinate with Glenda over in Trail and Emily so that they can talk about what paper was ordered, and I'll work with Mike and get something drafted up.
And Megan.
And Megan, we'll
Megan.
see what we can do.
Yeah,
It's just, it's a timing thing now.
right.
But at minimum, we want to get the flyers. And if the mailing isn't gonna end up working out, you know, let's use it the best we can.
Social media goes a long way too, but
Yeah, right. So,
at least it doesn't matter.
sounds good, Charlie. Thank you. Okay, Colonial Life, it's 9 o'clock.
There's somebody out there, I
Yeah.
think.
Come on in, have a chair there.
This one?
Yep.
Yeah,
Sat at the end of the table.
We got everything recorded and everything else stuff here, so that's the hotspot, so.
Perfect. You can sell the recording if you want to, see if it's worth it. All right. Good morning, I'm Dan. I work with Colonial Life. We work with the 4 or 5 surrounding counties of Steele County and a bunch of small businesses in those areas as well. I met with Emily and Carly a couple weeks ago to compare our rates to Aflac's rates. But I will start by saying this is not a financial decision for the county. This is a employee decision that they can make individually. We were able to compare the rates, and I got those printed out if you want to have a look. We can save the employees at the county a pretty good deal of money. It's just about a sneeze shy of $5,000 a year. So I have 2 copies of this if you want to have a look.
that's this, no, this is comparing. Aflac.
The
and the
original
saving.
invoice to give back to you.
Will you hand it to
Or
Carly?
Carly.
Thank you.
Ask I have, I suppose, is that you would allow me to speak to the employees and ask them if they would like an opportunity
Same
to
thing.
have another option. They could keep the same type of products, get them for a better deal, I suppose.
How many people we have on that right now?
Oh, 13,
13.
something like that. Not everybody, but
Mhm.
that's pretty normal. If you'd like to reach out to people who have this stuff, Robin and Jenny up in Nelson County, had it over it. Work with her too. It's not neighboring, but we've got Towner County, McIntosh County, all kinds of stuff. So we're able to find a way to put more money back in your guys' pocket.
Mhm.
With $4 gas, anything's better than nothing.
Do we have any employee meetings coming up that he could come to speak to that, so we don't have to get everybody together? During the meetings coming up.
Supposed to schedule one,
You have a minimum?
Nope.
Charlie or me? Yeah. I mean, it probably would be very nice to have one. I don't think there's been one in quite a while.
It's kind of hectic here with all the spring stuff here and the springs works late, the roads, all the water washouts, everything else we got. Stuff, so it's busy.
How long would you need to meet with them?
I can meet with them individually. It takes about 15 minutes a person, so. Basically, sit down with them. Go through what they currently have. If it's a better deal to go with what I've got, then we'll do that. If it makes more sense for them to stay where they are, then we'll leave them there. So. Can't hurt anybody. All I can do is help. So I'm not that far away. Minneapolis was home plate. This would be a different story.
Do we just want to reach out to these employees and see if they want to meet one-on-one with them and stuff? Or want to have an employee-
Why don't you put a memo to all employees that he's available to meet with them, and if any of the employees want to meet with them, they can sure meet with them.
Okay.
Certain date. So you can come.
What's your schedule look like?
Talking to me?
Or anyone who wants to answer? I'm gonna be in Lemoore County on the 24th. I could be here the 25th or the 26th, when you guys usually have your employee meetings.
As you said, we haven't had one in a while, so.
Usually not very often. Okay,
I think it's something you guys can figure out.
Yeah.
If the employees are interested, I think we give them the option to talk with Dan. We feel it's need be, we need to set up a whole employee meeting for them to talk to, we could do that also. So,
See how much interest is there.
Yeah.
Okay. Either day is good.
Okay.
24th or 5th, both work for me.
for either day, I'm let's see. I could do the 25th or 26th. Or the 23rd, but
Okay, 25th is fine.
perfect.
Or do you want to have Charlie here or no? I mean, do you guys want?
yeah, let's run it to
Yeah.
Charlie. See what,
Why don't you visit with Charlie and then you guys can work it out later on
Sure.
after the meeting or whenever.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
thank
That was
you.
easy.
Thanks, Dan.
No problem, Emily. Have a good meeting.
Thank
Got
you.
some work to do with those cookies.
Yep.
You as well.
Do you want to take Mike or do we want to do something else? Want to stay on schedule with Mike? So. Let's go down to Catherine Good resigning from the Agassiz Valley Human Service Zone and stuff, and we need somebody to replace her.
You want to post it or what do you want to do? You got somebody in mind?
No, I just read the Lacy Valley report and I just
When is she done?
saw that, so. I don't know.
Well, I think we should just post it.
Yeah, posted.
I'd say, yep.
Does Emily qualify for the job?
Be on that board.
We're talking about the board?
I guess the Valley Board.
That's okay.
Who else is on that? We have Commissioner Brandon. you're on there.
Brandon's on it.
Yep.
And
Jenny,
Jenny.
There's some criteria for that or what, Brandon? Or
you know,
it's gotta be another commissioner
No,
or?
no,
Can't-
no,
No.
can't be another
We can only
commissioner.
have
No,
one.
we can only have one commissioner. Now they changed that, so.
So somebody who's.
Somebody that would be knowledgeable and that stuff would really.
Absolutely. I mean, somebody out of the school system or,
Health field.
yeah, just,
Right, yeah.
it's good to have kind of all walks of life on that board.
Okay. Well, you wanna reach out to Kim, Emily, and then see if they have something that we can use to post it or what?
Okay,
Or are they, is Kim gonna post it or what?
I think we should post it for.
We
our
do
company.
it.
We should-
Yeah, because it's for
Yeah,
It's
us.
for us.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so suppose we should reach out to Kim and see what she has to say about it or whatever.
Mm-mm.
In the meantime, too, we can reach out to people. who-
Yeah, I mean, just-
Absolutely.
I will get what we've used previously.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much she had left on her term. I think there were 3 years, so. As far as Catherine, what she had left
Oh,
or
yeah.
if she was done or getting close to done, I don't know.
Yeah, great, yeah.
You want a 2-week deadline, timeframe, month? Guys have preferences?
Next commission meeting. Yeah.
That we can appoint.
Yep.
Okay,
What all do you got, Mike?
A bunch. Updates, I guess. Just checking in with you guys mostly. I know, up here last week, some of the flooding and stuff, so we've done a couple hydraulic studies for Ben for a township. So if there's anything else that you guys need as you go through your flood recovery, just let us know. Certainly, we're happy and willing to help. Big update was RJ Zavro, low bidder on the Conroe 11 project. Talked to them and they really see that project as an August, probably mid-August project for them, which given the current weather and condition of probably needing to do an awful lot of culvert replacements throughout the county is probably going to be difficult to try and get the ones done in Conroe 11 real early this spring. So I think that's a good thing. They're coming out of the Jacobson bid basically. And there's a couple other paving contractors that are ahead of them to use that bid. So August is really what they're looking at. So
That'll work well for us.
when is Highway 2 started, like, or 200?
that would be before that. So right now contractor schedules are so up in the air because the weather has just been difficult. I have not heard recently when they plan on starting that, but that was one of the reasons why Zach was saying August because May was coming out of the same pit. And then coming before them. So that would be my-
It'll be after June.
Yeah.
11th, so.
That's what was specified as part of that, just after June 9th.
Okay.
So. That's all I had. Part of what I'm here for is the updates that Reed and Ben will have part of that conversation. too. So,
We did recommend a user firm on the bridge. I interviewed you guys up.
okay, appreciate
They
that.
made motion.
Okay, appreciate that very much. We will get our information together and get it forwarded off to the DOT as they review our contract first for that information. So,
And interviews, since you're here, save me a phone call.
May 12th.
May 12th. 1 PM, 1:45, 2:30.
Afternoon. is, What was the latest one?
2:30,
What was your latest one?
1 PM.
Okay. Let me think about that just a little bit and get back to you.
Sure.
My 11-year-old is and he has a concert that day.
Oh. You have to have
Certainly not getting
priorities.
out of that,
Yeah. Oh, no.
You've heard kids that age before. They're learning. They're learning.
They do,
So
yeah.
let me just check to see. what
Maybe it'll be streamed.
Yeah.
What does he play?
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
practice.
practice is good. So let me check to see what time that is and I'll get back to you.
Sure.
Okay, we'll let you move on and then I'll be here for what?
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
That's like, you're out or?
Yeah, we are a little early for him.
Yeah, yes, we are.
Maybe we should call Ben down for emergency manager stuff.
Yeah, we can do that, yeah. Is there anything on the prairie dog? Flood, Mike?
Well, Ben's not here, so we'll talk about that. We never realized talking about that, but the coffers are filling. Optimism's going up that there's going to be money there. 2024 construction. If that money comes to fruition, that's great. And by- Not too bad.
Emergency manager stuff. Do you want to talk about tonight? We're ahead of schedule here a little bit.
Okay.
ARPA funding courthouse generator. Let me grab my stuff.
Okay.
We know, is Emily here today? Is she?
Oh, boy, don't put it in the paper.
Can you guys hear me?
You want to do a quick 5-minute recess?
That's all you get.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I'll make a second to 5-minute recess.
Those bags are faithful.
These are going through, Brian.
You gotta do it, huh?
These are going through.
I'm really struggling with the, human employee interaction, compassion, in some of these situations.
It's like we're gonna steal it. No flooding, no problems this spring, you know?
And then we were gonna have a meeting this morning, and I was gonna present it to them. And everything else is stuff. I don't know what you did.
It's deposited to the government fund. So, yeah, I have the receipt, it's in with cardboard stuff for the next meeting. There's nothing there.
So I can't figure, we must have been on the edge of it or something.
It's, every flood's different, but it goes odd directions. Sometimes there's culverts that go
I
out.
came in through
Blow out.
8 last night.
There was
On
one that looked at.
the bridge repair, that culvert
Eight
repair.
culverts.
Looks like the center of
The
the
water
water.
never got more than half the culvert down.
It's
Going,
be very super quick fix until we can get it.
yeah.
I don't know, it's all Ben's fault.
Ben's bringing in a better word.
It's his.
FEMA.
We're under swear right now.
That's it. Just want to talk about flood stuff. Let's hear about. You can have that if you want. It's only 9:25, not 10:30.
You know, they are in,
Once a year.
they're in a mood that they want out now.
Great, I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue. When does this happen?
Great.
He's about half his budget on correctional facilities already. Is that all to Marks? Or trailer
I believe those are
everywhere?
casts, a lot of casts, I believe.
Trails isn't open yet.
That's right. I suppose Cass is a lot more expensive too. Taj Mahal.
Just redid a new facility, now they gotta pay for it.
Some years you have hardly anything, and then some years that
What's up?
Not much, but pretty good. Pretty good. I'm good.
Hanging out there?
Yeah, hanging out, see what was lessons learned. You know.
I get that. I get that. I get it.
So it's documentation.
Look at that. You see that? I was gonna put it on one and then I was like, no, that got way too small.
I'm gonna be the first. We just screwed it up.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, so we'll talk about some flooding stuff right away. That's kind of the new big deal that we just had happen. Do you guys remember the county declared the flood emergency later that night? The governor did declare as well. So in front of you guys, you have the site map and then the spreadsheet stapled copy is all of our sites and descriptions and stuff we have so far. I'll caution you that this is what we have so far. It's not inclusive of everything. We have 43 sites so far. As the water does take down, we'll start to find more. That's just how it goes. There are some roads that are going to remain closed for right now. County Road 12 north of 23. That's going to stay closed until the water can recede away from the bridges. Water went back up over the bridge. It should go down today. So we should see that back open again once the guys can get out and blade it over and probably throw a couple more loads of gravel on there. County Road 20, that is north of 23. That road also is going to remain closed. There is a hole about 2.5, 3 miles up in near one of the bridges, and the crew, I think Richard went out there the other day, and we need to take a look at it some more to make sure that it's safe before we do anything. County Road 1, just north of Ted's place, that also remains closed. Nothing we can do until it dries up. So those are the closures that we have so far. Every other county road should be open.
What did you do on one? You closed that?
So 1 east-west, is that what you're thinking? Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
east.
So 1 east, that was closed because there was a hole in the
Yeah.
road by the culvert.
Yep.
And the road department fixed that yesterday. And it actually opened up again this morning. So they
Okay.
had it all blocked
Okay.
again. They were gonna go do that this morning.
Yep. Good.
So they're gonna try and keep it open.
I
They're
got your
bringing
call the other day, said that.
So they're bringing fill and stuff down there to get it open. again.
Good, yeah.
So that should be open by the end
Yeah,
of the day.
that one is, I was surprised we didn't get the rain. We did at our place, but up at the missile site there there was nothing on the road.
Yeah.
Even going, on one, that little short stretch over the highway. I can't imagine that there's no water there.
Yeah.
Golf course was running again, but we must have been right on the line. We missed it from north of us,
Yeah.
which is good.
So you guys can see the estimates there. If you look on the back page of that stapled copy, we're estimating just over $800,000 damages. That's right. I said $800,000. That is inclusive of the bridge up by Brandon's place. So that's that 700,000. That's inclusive there. So I wrote another copy or another little number on the bottom of that. It just subtracts out that 700,000 that we have estimated for that bridge. Really, truthfully, we're at 135,000 and some change. I'm gonna include the bridge and the FEMA stuff and see what they go with. So Mike and I had a conversation with the FEMA guys yesterday. And we, more questions were asked by FEMA. Mike responded with some answers. We feel pretty comfortable and confident with where we're at with the bridge down by Brandon's place. Hopefully we get some more news coming up.
Boy, that would be nice.
It would be awesome. It would be awesome.
It would.
So that's where we're at on the flood stuff. Do you guys have any questions on any of that?
So are we gonna prioritize some of these? Are we working on that of how, what needs to be fixed?
So right now with the funding that we have, by declaring that emergency, we open up our emergency fund, as you guys know. I know Reed's been keeping track of everything on his end, and the guys have too, of what exactly is going to be paid for out of that fund for the roads specifically. So yes, in a short answer, we probably should have some prioritizing questions. Reed's point right now, while it's still kind of wet, kind of gross, is to get the roads open. A lot of these conversations we're gonna need to have again, once we actually get dry and 100% fix the roads.
I think for the most part, our road should be open now.
Yes.
Yeah.
County 12 bridge, like I said, once the water recedes from that, the guys will go up, they'll blade it over again, probably throw a couple more loads of gravel. I think we're still out there, just make sure that the bridge is okay, and then we'll.
We got some trees out there, we're probably gonna have to get out of there.
Yep, so we should be okay for getting roads back open. Roads should be open fairly soon.
By the end of the week, they probably will be more. I don't know about one down there if you're gonna get to that one, but I'd say by the end of the week, most of our roads will be all open. Would you agree?
Yep. So That's flood. Any other questions on flood?
How does that current work that we put in
Good,
up there?
good. We put it over the band that was exposed, that was leaking all over it, and I don't think it leaked anything out of there. Underneath the road, I
Still stable.
mean, we don't know, but I mean, I would think we filled it right to the top.
I drove through it last night. Looks like it's got a little dip in the center of it.
But it had this much pavement on it, but it then had about 6 to 7 foot hole underneath it by 6, 7, 8 feet wide. It was a big hole, 15 yards of concrete. I think our culvert is maybe July 1 to get that one, so. We do need to get dirt on the edge though. So as soon as we can get to a dry pit, we're gonna try to get that all in there.
Just so you guys know for timeline wise, we haven't received a word yet from the state on when we have to have all the damage assessments in. It's usually 3-4 weeks after the damage has occurred. It's kind of been the timeline we've done in the past. Once we get all of our damage assessments completed and into the state, that's when they compile everything and they move forward then with the federal declaration process. So these estimates that you guys have in front of you truly are just estimates at this point. We, obviously with what we've done in the past and where prices are, we feel pretty confident in where they're at. But once you get out there, you might blade a road and then you find a hole, and then Jake can attest, you got to fill the hole and you got to blade it again, you got to do a whole bunch of other things. So it's a lot more, it'll be a lot more involved. Should have some better final numbers for you guys here in the next month or so. But that's where we're at right now. So we'll submit our estimates to the state when they ask for them at that time. Hopefully we'll have some sites 100% completed and we can just get those taken care of right away. And then once the state compiles all that information, they'll be able to formally do the presidential declaration process. I did talk to those guys yesterday and they feel extremely confident that that presidential declaration is coming. They said that they're thinking this is a $60-70 million disaster statewide. They said out west alone has $30, $40, $50 million in damages just in the electrical. So they feel pretty confident that we're going to meet disaster declaration standards.
You maybe should send another memo out to township officers. In the last couple of days, I've noticed more culverts dropping down.
Yep.
When the frost is coming out, so they should probably re-inspect their culverts again.
At least for the next 2 weeks.
I'll do that.
And as ours too, check the county roads again.
Yes.
Okay. That's the last I'll say on flood. Looks for thoughts, questions.
You jinxed us this spring.
I know, I said it, I sat here last month and I told you guys that we're not gonna have a flood. And then 2 weeks later,
There
we have
we
a
do.
flood.
Maybe a
So
liar.
maybe a liar.
So
So
also want to
Don't do that.
thank the county guys and the sheriff's office for keeping up to date. I mean, that Friday into Saturday went from 0 to 100 in a lot of places, and they were very overwhelmed to trying to get roads closed down, flagged, and they did a really good job.
They did.
And so commend the guys on that, and Wayne's been doing a good job of keeping everybody informed. So just want to make note of that too.
Ben as well, driving
And
around,
Ben,
taking pictures. We appreciate all of it. You do a good job too. Shirley.
all right, so it's not underneath my stuff on the agenda, but it is something that's lacking from last month, or that has rolled over from last month. These shop drawings that you guys are seeing in front of you, this is for the storm shelters out at the lake. I do need a formal approval or anything. I just need the nod of approval that we can proceed with these shop drawings. I have to get the approved yes into Forterra. So you should have two. You should have an east side and a west side.
Oh.
Just FYI. There's two packets.
Who needs east?
I do.
Who doesn't have an east and a west?
To the west, how many people is that?
west will be 75, and then the east is 125. So just so you guys are aware, that's per FEMA standards. FEMA standards, you have to have a specific amount like around you, 1 foot bubble, whatever the heck they call it, right?
6 feet COVID limit.
Yeah, so in the grand scheme of things, if something happens, we're gonna fit as many people into these shelters as absolutely possible. So the 125 and 75 is just for for FEMA, part of the grant process, but we're gonna be able to put everybody in there that we absolutely can. Okay.
Yep.
I just need the yes that we can proceed here.
You want to mention?
We have,
Wait for
with these two, we have the right amount of money.
Yep, yes. Yes. So
The price did go up.
price did go up. We, on the storm shelters, I think I talked to you guys about that before. They went up, what was that, $30,000. We did reach out to, do you want to do it or do you want me to do it? We did reach out to Improvement, and they were absolutely gracious enough to donate or give $15,000 towards this project. So Russell did submit that check to Emily. Thank you, Russell, for your work on that. So we do have $15,000 towards this project already from Finley Improvement. So that definitely brings our costs down significantly. I want to thank Finley Improvement for their generosity.
Yeah, thank you.
Already talked to Matt. I already talked to a few of you on these. I know I sent it out to Matt, Brandon, Richard for you guys to look at. Matt's already come back and said, yep, looks good on his end. So like I said, if you guys are cool with it, then I'll send it back to Forterra and let them know that we're.
Looks good to me.
Yep. Okay. Now to get into actually what we came here for. ARPA funding. So want to give you guys an update on what the Trail County Commission did last month and kind of give you an idea of what we're thinking about going forward. And Charlie can talk to this as well. The Trail County Commission last month, they formally approved the dispatch center upgrade to come out of the ARPA funds, as well as updating the entirety of the sheriff's office to their brand new radios to come out of that fund as well. So it was a great day for the sheriff's office, for dispatch center to be able to secure those funds. What they did, though, part of their motion, part of their caveat was Trail County Commission wants to pay. Remember, we talked about the 75-25 split between us and Trail County. They are going to pay their 75% of that dispatch center upgrade, with Steele County supplying the other 25% directly. So we're not going to reimburse Trail County. We're going to pay Motorola direct our 25%. So Motorola will get 2 checks, one from Trail, one from us.
And that's just from ease of accounting and accountability for reporting use for the funds.
Right.
And that was this year, right?
That was the end of this year, early next year, whenever they get us the final numbers out. So Motorola is working with us pretty well. We told them that, you know, if we can hold off on building as long as we can, that'd be fantastic. They didn't seem like that was a problem. So that's where we're at with that. That total that we're going to wind up having to pay is around 106,000. That's a very round number. It's a little bit less than that, whatever. So my recommendation to you guys is to do the same, approve the Steele County's 25% share from the ARPA fund when that payment comes due.
Do they first need to decide voted on accepting the standard deduction here? The standard.
That report was due the end of April, so I'm assuming Emily just already did that
last week.
Couple meetings ago.
That money's in our general fund.
Right.
Yes.
It's been there for 6-8 months. In its own fund, and we're doing that for tracking for the reporting purposes.
But so we're good there.
So my request is that we approve the, when that bill comes due, that we approve the 25% share from the ARPA fund. Dispatch center upgrade.
I'll make that motion. We pay that out of the ARPA fund.
What, just 1 second, what Is that total radio funds we're still looking at, or just the dispatch center alone?
That's just the dispatch, it's just our share of the dispatch center.
Okay, how much, what else are we looking at above that? We gotta upgrade some.
Glad you asked that question. $40,000, a little over 40,000, 41,000.
Okay.
I have that next.
Okay.
Do you want to do it all together, or do you want to?
Well, I just was, my personal opinion on this is that we take some of this ARPA funding and pay for something that benefits all the taxpayers, and these radios will.
Yeah.
Getting that taken care of, cleaned up, what's left after that, then we can decide on, I mean, obviously, we got a ton of projects to get done here. I just think we allocate what we need to get that whole thing done, squared away.
Tell us about the 41,000.
So the 41,000 gets you 6 total portable radios, and it updates the sheriff's department truck radios to the new system. So we're estimating about $3,000 per truck to update them into the new system. We already have the new radios. It's just getting the formal, everything completely upgraded to that new system. And then the 31,000 and some changes for those 6 portable radios. We're looking for 3 encrypted portable radios and 3 non-encrypted portable radios. And just for your information, there is a $1,500 radio reimbursement on every single radio we purchase. So 6 times 1,500, we will get that back from the state once we pay for it, receive it.
Really important to note that this isn't like a want-based deal.
Right. It's gonna happen.
Need-based.
So I would make a motion, we pay the 106 and the 41,000 out of ARPA funds.
I'll second that.
So on top of this, we still have another 31,000 for other radios also then?
No.
You said 41,000 for the radios, and then you said another 31,000.
No, 31,000 for the radios, about 9,000 for getting the sheriff's office trucks upgraded. So together it's $40,715.
So 100, roughly 150,000 total.
Roughly 150,000 total. But if you remember my estimates from a couple months ago, that's what we guessed.
We got a motion on the floor here, stuff. You got a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Who did second?
I did.
Thank you guys for that. I'll make sure we talk to Solons and get those radios going and get everything switched over when we're ready to do it. The next one is the generator for the courthouse. It's across the street at the shop right now. It was delivered. You guys, I'm assuming have seen it. If you haven't, you can look out the window or go look when you leave and see it. Forward on the installation, so we need to get started on the concrete and get into place and all that stuff. So I wanted to have a discussion on that. If we feel comfortable with it, then we can move forward. If not, Richard.
Reed and I looked at it over there. It looks like the best spot would be on the northwest corner of the building in the grass. Not where it's currently at, so. Between me helping out the road department and the road department will pour the cement. And that time to put his conduit in there.
Will it work? Will it work for him to run conduit where he needs to? And
He'll have to either way, so.
no matter what.
Tyler put his pipe over from the building over and into the thing, then pour the concrete.
We'll cut everything for him and get it all ready, so it's, well, the trench dug, all you gotta do is lay pipe in.
So we're all set to go. There's nothing else. You guys are gonna work together with Tyler. Okay, perfect. That was easy. That was.
And the other one is going over to, right,
Sure.
other generator.
Yeah, that's kind of what we talked. I guess we didn't finalize that, but that's, we might as well use it somewhere.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So maybe we can get an estimate how much it would cost for him to, we would probably get the slab poured for that same time, then have him give us an estimate how much it's gonna cost to plumb that in.
Where's the electrical boxes over there?
I believe on the west side of the
They're in
building.
the middle, in the west side.
No,
We wouldn't want to put it right next to the building, but if we did, we'd have to put a roof over it because all the snow that comes off the roof. depth in it. But we could take and move that propane tank over, that's already hooked up to it, move that over to it.
That's another generator. The last thing I have for you guys is the courthouse active shooter training. So I have a grant that pays for some training, and we've been trying to do this for a little while, and we finally are at the point where we feel like we can do it. What I am looking for, well, let me explain. So there's two things that are gonna happen in the courthouse active shooter stuff. We're gonna do a training session, and then we wanna do it, tabletop exercise is what we call it. So we have all of the, entities sitting around the table, tabletop exercise, and we just walk through, this is what happens, how do you respond to this, and that. The training would happen before that, and the training would be for all courthouse staff and all county employees actually, to come in and sit through a 2-hour, basically a lecture, but it's a training on active shooter and how you can respond, how you can react, that sort of thing. We have a contractor coming in to do this. My request to you guys is I would like to require this training and make it mandatory for all county employees. The date that we have is Thursday, May 26th. And it would be a 2-hour training from 10 to noon. With openings and stuff, I'm open for anything, but it'd be requested mandatory training for all county employees.
Did we do this one time?
May 26th.
Yeah, we just.
Yeah.
Okay, just,
This is
Figure
more in depth. More involved.
I think it was mandatory that time too, right?
I think so. Sure, that would require a closure as well.
For what, a couple hours?
For a couple hours. May 26th. We would want to start the training at 10, so we're not, so we'd be done at noon, so close the courthouse at 9:30.
Okay,
That would have to be a motion.
I'll make that motion.
that, that Colonial guy, he was coming the 25th, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just sort of keep everything. Yeah. Got a motion on the floor to close the courthouse on May 26th at 9:30 AM till noon. We got a motion and a second on it. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
So for your guys' calendars, on Thursday, June 16th, from 2 PM to 4:30 PM is when we would be looking to conduct that tabletop exercise. Would not require all county employees to be there. I would highly strongly recommend and encourage department heads to attend this tabletop. But it
What
doesn't.
day?
June 16th, Thursday, June 16th, from 2 PM to 4:30 PM. We're going to invite a lot of people to that one to
That's an
response
hope.
entities and stuff.
That's an hope.
No, that'll be here.
Finley.
Both of these trainings.
Where you can hold that.
In the basement.
Two to four, you said?
2 to 4:30,
Or 4:30, okay.
For a 2-hour meeting.
2.5. Training, not a meeting, training. So that's not gonna require a closure or anything. It's just letting you guys know that that's happening. And I'll remind you guys next month too.
Someone just made me aware, I don't know, if to take into consideration, that's the last day of school in Finley. There's a lot of parents that may want to go to the awards and ceremonies there that day, that morning. Just
On the 26th.
correct, bringing that up.
Well, for dates, that was the first date I picked, so.
Well, figure out a date. Let's. Hey, that works for everybody, that's.
The last thing I had for you guys is just a reminder that we have those of you that are involved in our security committee, we have that meeting 10 minutes after the conclusion of this one. That'll be in the basement.
I forgot, so thank you.
You're welcome. All I had on DES. Charlie, did I miss anything?
You got under what?
Emergency management.
Okay. Any other questions for Ben?
We're gonna do the greater bid issue.
Yeah. Peter, Ben, who's,
I'll let Reed go. I gotta grab some stuff.
okay.
So we just do want to do the gravel bid real quick, the award gravel stuff before we still have time.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Pick one.
On the gravel award here, we worked out, Lakeside got, was the cheapest on County Road 9. I mean, no, excuse me, on County Road 7, County Road 4, and County Road 19. KRB was cheaper on County Road 9 and 6. So we are looking at that for gravel for this year. It turns out after our spot gravel and stuff that we'll have a $10,000 cushion.
So you're looking at
Request to award to those recommendations.
Yeah,
KRB to do
he's gonna do
County Road
6,
9.
County Road 6 south of Hope. And County Road 9 from starting from Hope there, that first mile where we tore up that blacktop and then around over to County Road 10.
Okay.
The rest of that got gravelled last year, so.
And Lakeside, we're gonna do County Road 7,
Upper 7, north of Sharon,
all of 4.
all of 4, and
all of
19
19.
up at Golden Lake.
So the other side of it is that we've always done a 25 cent bonus if they complete within a certain time frame. You guys talked about maybe doing that, maybe not doing that. Conversation.
Yeah.
Better to get it done early than it is to wait.
Yeah. Kind of makes sense. It's been working out in the past to do that. Everybody. If we can have board approval on that.
So I'll make a motion that we do that
So board is recommended.
award as recommended with the 25 cent bonus for getting done. I mean, how have we done that in the past? Is it by a date?
By July 15th.
By July 15th?
Yeah.
We'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
We got a motion on the floor and a second. On the gravel pits, okay. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's done.
The handouts for the motivator stuff.
So, well, before we do this, we had some conversations about motor quotes. Charlie isn't 100% these yet, so before we even hand these out, my recommendation is gonna be that we wait a month. The questions that Charlie has, that we wanna make sure we get 100% answered before we move forward with accepting any votes. So that's my recommendation. Do you wanna see the votes, can I hand the votes out, or should we just wait?
My suggestion is.
We wait.
Yeah. There's just things that come to.
What's the reasoning? Why we're waiting?
We just, there's a few questions that are still lingering that we're not 100% done. We want to make sure that we have all the information, all the data, everything ready before we present those quotes to you guys.
Legalities, you mean, or?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
kind of. I don't want to say it's legality, but I just want to make sure that we're in compliance with everything. So our bid, our request for proposals specifically states we're accepting bids through Sourcewell, blah, 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 right? And then, if I remember right, you got a bid, and then you commission asked them for other bids. And so he went ahead and did that. My question in my own mind is, did we abide by our own request for proposal? We said he gets the source level, and then got our own bid from John Deere. I haven't seen the John Deere bid, and I guess I've seen the Butler bid, but I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. Because I needed to get more information this morning, so I need to check on those bids and our request for proposal and see if we're all in compliance. If we are, great. We'll be good to go next month. But as of this morning, I just wasn't able to confirm all that.
So what happened to the old way of sealed bids? Instead of going through the Sourcewell? That's a bunch of. Why do we do that? We get 2 sealed bids from the guys, one each, and we open them right here. Why? They know everything now before we even get to it.
Right, that's still an option. I mean, going in the future, it's still an option. I wasn't involved in the Sourcewell stuff.
That is crap.
But the Sourcewell, the goal of the Sourcewell, in a nutshell, is because of the volume that they can basically give or offer to the manufacturers, the price point ends up being less. That's the overall theory. It's the by analogy, I'll use Blue Cross Blue Shield says, hey, Sanford, we have 350,000 North Dakotans on our policy. How much of a discount will you give us for medical services? Sourcewell, national company with members from all over the United States can go to these vendors and say, we've got 5,000 political subdivisions or what have you that are going to be wanting these graders. What's your best price point on that kind of volume? Never guarantee you're going to sell those. So, what kind of discount can you get?
So can
that's what that in a nutshell. Ben, is that basically accurate?
Yes.
That's a crap.
Can we ask any questions, do you think today, as far as putting it back a month or availability of either machine if we pick one?
I think we can ask if those are time sensitive bids. Yeah.
So if we decide the next meeting, when would be availability for each machine?
Ours is still supposed to be here. And with the bid that we already gave to Reed Ben. Yeah, I think I said January, February when I looked last, but what happens in a month is. Probably lead time. Our price, we're gonna supposed to take it, which is also the way to purchase would be on it as well.
So that's our recommendation. I don't think it requires any actions from you guys. That's what we're looking at. Questions?
We'll figure out legality and right way to proceed with this between Charlie and you guys. And then we'll come with how we should kind of go with that by next meeting. Because I mean, just thinking about it, that if we're gonna be a year out, or if we're gonna be 8 months, 9 months of getting equipment ordered in here, we're gonna need to make that decision. So
Guess that's all we can do then, huh? Want to wait a month? So,
Well, thanks guys for coming in.
yep,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Okay, we need to discuss this. What's the deal? I mean, today was the date we were had it. They knew it. The guys were here with the bids. Why aren't we doing it? Because of the source well deal? Let's go back to the old way. We get a letter, sealed letter, we don't, nobody knows. Here, Ben knows exactly who everybody's bid and what their bids are. This is a commission deal, not an emergency manager or the road department. I'm old school. We always got it in hand. Here, we opened it right here and got found out. This is, I don't like a new system.
Well, I'm gonna just say one thing. If we would have, our original bid, John Deere would have been thrown out because they couldn't meet specifications.
Well, then so be it. That would have happened then.
Well, so we gave the opportunity to revise their bid. And so John Deere could meet the specifications. And now everything's way out of whack. So they
Way
gotta
out of
figure-
whack.
They need to figure out where the bid is at.
That's part of the
That's-
equation that I'm looking at, is that
What's legal and what's not.
proposal said here, you know, for the exact specifications, contact the spec document. And then, when we reached out to John, when Ben reached out to John Deere, they didn't meet the specs. Then we went back to Butler and said, what's your bid without meeting the spec? And basically the spec, the issue with meeting the specs was the how long. So now we have original bid through Sourcewell that met specs, and now we have bids from both Caterpillar and John Deere that don't necessarily meet the specs.
That
right?
still didn't answer my question. Why do we use Sourcewell? We never have
Because all that
before.
stuff is done already.
Pardon me?
All that stuff is done already. All the spec stuff, they do all that for us. That's why we don't have to do it.
So then how come John Deere didn't know what the specs were that Cat
don't
had?
know.
They always.
They all received the same. But John Deere could not meet the spec with the warranty.
So can they now?
No. They can't meet specs.
So the question is.
So why is Cat, tell me why Cat has such better specs than John Deere? What's the difference?
It's the warranty.
2 years and
2-year warranty
2-year warranty.
Okay, well, that makes a
and
difference.
2,000 hours.
and okay,
It's
that
huge.
makes a difference. That's what I wanted to know.
But the price difference for that warranty is huge as well. So,
Can you guys ask something as a citizen of the county?
Sure.
What's that extra 2-year warranty costing?
well, I don't think we're gonna talk about that during our meeting.
But I can tell you that is being addressed as well.
Okay, Charlie. I know that's where I come from, so that's why I'm asking.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It is.
I did also hear in Trail County today that RDO up there offered Trail County a 10-year, 9,000 hour warranty. Which now that is public over there to where we would like to look at what their specs are. Why RDO Grand Forks can offer over
Fargo, which could.
over Butler and John can't. So I was, as another county, them the public records for us to look at, I would like for us to look at what they had for specs today over there. To be fair, I mean, they said RDO Grand Forks did a 10-year in over spec there, because that's what they were asking too, was for 9 years warranty And
So my question here is, are we complicating this more? Or do we need to make this simpler? Is the source well thing not gonna hit where we want it to hit, or do we go back to what we did?
One reason why we're looking at Sourcewell is because you guys wanted to look at lease numbers for payments. And we have all that through NCL, where we can machine with no money down. And I mean, Ben can better explain that, but where we make a payment every year of $50,000
Yep.
instead of going out 365,000 out of our budget. That's kind of why we went with Sourcewell. Sourcewell offers that is why we went to Sourcewell. So.
Well,
and that-
you three need to
yeah,
check this out before we go any further.
right.
So actually, what we're looking at is just the legal ramifications of all this,
Pretty much.
Kinda.
right?
And specifications. because
Specifications.
I don't-
Specifications.
You have to indulge me. I don't know how those specs are prepared. And I don't know whether the commission votes on those specs or if that's just Reed's deal. But I didn't know that information. And
We let them write the specs that they've always had, and then they change them if they want to, and and we make sure they're fair,
right, then they come to you and say, here's where we're at.
because we don't want them to write a spec where
Only one can do it, not another.
Right, no, I
We
get
want to make it.
it. Yeah. So there's, yeah, there's a few layers. And it all happened in the last 4 days, so it's not like.
well, what's really strange is the warranty that Chuck Connie got. What's strange is the warranty that you guys got over there.
It's kind of a 4-year ordeal, reinforces up to 10 years, gas, like, but it costs a lot of money to get that extra warranty. That's all I'm gonna say, as a citizen of this county. I agree with Ed. Open a bit. I'm old school. I'm young, but I'm old school.
Well, I saw is this, I guess I don't like change. And this Sourcewell coming in and telling us that's the way you do it. No, we're just, well, that's just me. And probably I don't know enough about it, but
Me neither. I've been trying to learn.
I'm just old school.
Trying to learn things, so.
Okay, let's move on then and go from here, I guess. So Charlie and Ben and Reed will figure this out and
Yeah.
come back to the June 7th meeting. Go from there.
That's all I have with you guys, I mean, except with what Mike is gonna present. Oh, you already did, okay.
And I just want to thank you, Reed and Ben and Charlie and everybody, Sheriff's Department for the hard work on the flood and everything else.
You bet.
Appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Make sure you tell your guys that.
Yeah.
No, I will.
You're-
I tell them, I mean, because I could not do my job without having my good health that I have. I mean.
You got
and,
good health.
They are, I tell them all the time. When you do something wrong.
It's a mess out there.
But it is.
It is.
And we should have, you know, and I'll keep Brandon and we are running back down to County Road 1 right now. Because
Oh, yeah, that's,
you know,
yeah, that,
and stuff. And so hopefully by the end of the week, I'll keep you guys informed, Richard and Brandon, you know, and if you guys all want me to call you.
no, that's,
you know,
you're fine.
But otherwise, I've been on the phone all weekend with these two, you know, and then I called you
Yep.
too, you know, when you're
Yep.
down in your area. And, but, no, thank you guys.
No, it's a mess.
I thought we were gonna be ahead of the game, but no, we're
You
behind
know,
the game.
maybe it's gonna quit.
Good.
I hope.
Reed and Ben, oh, sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
They set a date of the 12th next week to do interviews again at 1 o'clock.
Oh, the 12th at 1, you're gonna send out the.
You won't be here?
Won't be around.
What day is that?
May 12th.
You can do those.
The 12th,
Everybody else, you can-
next, be Thursday.
Do it still at 4 then, right? Or should we have an odd number?
It's scoring based, so, I mean, but it wouldn't, it's up to you guys. You can appoint somebody else to the committee.
Forcibly enough, so.
I think we need to have 5. No? We just always have
Well, find
5.
out if they find that
Yeah,
out, then.
don't
if
talk
we
to
need
Ben.
we can-
And don't look directly at me.
Tim come in too, or?
You're gonna send out a reminder on that?
I can.
Or
There's
I
only
mean-
2 of us
is it 1
already.
o'clock or what time?
It starts at 1
3, then we
o'clock
gotta
in the
visit.
basement again. Yeah.
And we're gonna do it downstairs. or up? Okay.
Downstairs.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I'll get you. I'll get you. That'll be fine.
No one can run all that stuff
Forget
except
that
for
one
Ben
question.
usually.
You guys can decide your own questions.
No, that is a construction question this
True.
time.
I do have True North, they're coming this week for deliver culverts from me. And also the guy from True North is gonna come out because there's a couple big culverts for a couple different townships that we gotta get ordered. Because they're ripping out and stuff, so hopefully it ain't the 12th that he's here, but I'll just make it a point that on the afternoon of the 12th, I'm busy.
Thanks, Reed.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you.
We also gotta go up to Sharon Township and look at that thing that Ben Vig had called in or emailed about. That culvert up there.
Yeah, that, we were already, that is their responsibility, not our responsibility, that culvert, because it is not in a legal drain. If it was in a legal drain, then it would be our responsibility, but it is not a legal drain. It is just a waterway. So with the way that he's reading it, we talked about that last year. And that it's not a legal drain, so we are not, it's a township deal, not a county deal.
Okay.
And that is. The legal drain, yeah, then county is by statute on it.
Yeah.
If it's not, then there's nothing to do. I haven't seen it say the county is responsible.
Okay.
I think I answered your question. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you bet.
Okay, what do we got next here?
Carly brought in that contract, right? Did you guys?
Oh, with the Barnes County, yeah, I looked at I compared the Barnes County contract with the last one we signed. It's the same, except they didn't change the per day rate for the county. They actually increased the rate for people who are there who want to have work release, so they have to pay their own way on some of that. So otherwise, it's the exact same contract. So there's no issue. Same rate. And the county increased rate.
So we need a motion on that then?
You know, this is a public meeting.
Yeah, we should have a motion signed.
Well, I mean, did we?
Yeah, I was waiting for.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Yeah, we always
Well-
do for contracts.
Okay, and a motion and second on the Barnes County contract and stuff. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Water board, they want to meet with us.
Yes, under the HR stuff quick.
Sure.
Oh, we gonna do that too? Yeah.
like, when you guys do that stop work. You guys get to public comment.
Yeah, that's one.
Yep.
No, I got one. I mean, I had two.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
This is what you sent out. no?
Recent one, which would be. I think I only sent that to Brandon. I haven't given this, I don't believe it, unless Brandon circulated with you guys. But what this is, you guys, is a kind of a outline of communications between Emily and myself and me with other department heads and so on, so I can have a better understanding of everything that goes on as far as HR. And this is just a suggestion to date of what stays with the auditor's office and what will get moved to whatever the human resource department ends up looking like in the future. So what I'd like you guys to do is view it and provide your input to me. So we can keep this going, and then we'll, you know, by June, we should have a better handle on exactly where we're gonna be at. So.
I sent this around earlier there about HR, and this is from the non-exempt employee group. We've all read that and stuff, so we'd like to take that into consideration too. So, I don't know if Charlie's seen that or not.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's something that it's all on the table, right, for you guys to make an ultimate decision. Now, we haven't, right now, we're just kind of in the interim as far as what we're doing, so.
Right, yep.
So, everything's on the table. So my thought is you guys take a kind of a hard look at the outline that I provided to you. And, you know, no, I don't think there should be any hesitation or any questions or additions or changes or whatever. Let's get everything we can on the table. With an eye towards perhaps making a final decision on what's going to happen in June. That works for you guys. We've been working on it. Emily's been giving me information, and I've been asking for it from other departments and so on.
So is there a possibility to sit down with you and the board, or right now in a meeting where my office and me give you guys information or suggestions on some of those items you have listed on here that I'm just browsing through currently?
My own thought would be provide information to me, and I'll put everything on paper for the commission. Yeah.
Right. You and I and, you know, the girls too, we have previously discussed things such as drug testing, you know, the county manager, risk manager portions, the employee files, compensated absences, building keys and all of that. That some of that goes hand in hand with payroll and how you are going to, you said, well, it makes sense to leave them in our office. So now it's separated. So I'm just trying to clarify where all of that goes.
Well, I can say this, there's way more to all of this than just what's on paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's why we're just continuing to work on it. So why don't you and I and or your office sit down and so I can get that input too. Because there may be things I'm not even really aware of, right? And so the more information we get out there, the better the ultimate decision. So let's plan on that, okay?
Okay.
I don't think that's something that we need to hash out in a meeting.
I'm just. That's the only time I'm getting this information. So if, you know, if Brandon wants to be a part of it, that'd be great too.
Understand that wanted to get everything on paper that I could before I
Sure.
distribute it publicly, so.
Well, my thinking is that we need to start we need to look at this from a structure. Getting it on paper is great. Works for auditor's office. The duties that need to be still in place there, because it just makes sense. And there's gonna be gray area in there. Sometimes we know we're gonna work through that. We'll have to probably work through some of that. There's just gonna be some of that where it's gonna be a process to kind of move through this. And I think the end result will be good. It's just gonna take there's gonna be some road bumps in there that we're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, and along those lines, that's what's happening right now, is there's some overlap with what you folks wanted me to do and what Emily's office still is doing or needs to do, and her and I have maintained open line of communication on that. So we're working through that behind the scenes. I feel anyway.
So we'll review this and then by June we'll make a decision or something. Charlie, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, that would be up to you guys. But I will try to get, I won't even say, I will get you something at least a week in advance of the next meeting, so you have that to review. So when you come in here,
So you want to make a decision on the structure and the duties, is that kind of what we're looking at?
that's up to you guys. I'm just facilitating the process. You guys, I think you can, when you have more information, I think you guys can decide whether you're comfortable with making a formal long-term move in June, or whether there's still need to address it. But I feel like the process is moving along, and the feedback I'm getting is positive in terms of what you guys have done and made decisions on. So that's a good thing.
I think we should be able to make that work though.
Official. Still, Charlie, if that's something we can make a decision later about bringing in Northern Risk Partners. I think that's kind of how we set the structure first. Decide from there.
Yeah. That has to be part of, that needs to be part of the discussion, because I think that we should have that, as we talked about before, have it as a readily available resource, meaning that we would purchase some guaranteed time from them. It's available to whoever's up, it's the committee, if it's me, if it's somebody else, who's ever making HR decisions, that's a readily available resource. And by readily available, I think that means that we purchase some time units from them, so we have that available. Make sense?
Yep.
And then I suppose we have to decide on which board members are gonna be on that oversight committee and stuff too, and then or what employees are we gonna have on there? Are we gonna have exempt or non-exempt or whatever?
Or whether there's even gonna be a committee, whether it's just gonna be reassigned to a certain department head.
Right.
That's all I have on that. One other thing I have is with regard to the county nurse departments that we contracted, as you guys know, with Guinness Trail to assist, and she really knew how she was supposed to provide her billing to us. And under the contract, it just says she needs to provide us with her statement for hours worked and mileage. And then it would be paid at our vote, you guys would approve it as a monthly bill. She didn't realize it would need to be in the day. And so what I told her was that I'd ask for you guys to approve her bill as well, provided I review it and confirm it's all warranted. That makes sense?
Yep.
So part of your approval of bills, ask you guys to include that too. Conditioned on me looking at it, maybe the hours and the mileage.
So we did get a signed contract for that?
There is one, yeah.
Okay, could you get me a copy of that for the file, please?
Ready?
Sounds good. Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Charlie.
You're up, Josh.
Okay, well, thank you so much for seeing us. As you all are aware, we got some issues going on with water, things like that. Everyone does. I'm gonna turn Cassie loose a little bit, and then she's gonna turn over a bit and just some verbal updates. As well.
Yeah, so lots of water issues happening right now, as well. All are aware. We had an emergency meeting last Tuesday. A lot of the time was spent on the issues with drain 11 specifically. So, and then we'll talk about that, but we have been discussing remediation measures of some of the damage that was done to our facilities. Other issue that we've kind of encountered with all this water coming in is individuals going onto our facilities and opening and shutting and messing with the gates and things on things. So we're gonna put some signs up, we think, to prevent people from taking any self-help action on our facilities without the board's approval. It's been an issue. So we'll be working on getting those signs up on those gates. That's about what I have. Lindsay, you have an update on that?
Yep, sure can. The biggest one this board is aware of is drain 11. Last week, we did hire a contractor out there to do an emergency fix. That emergency fix did not hold with the weekend rains. The pipe separated through there. So we are working on another emergency fix out there to prevent that from head cutting further to the west and through that drop structure that's basically holding for now. So we're looking at an emergency fix there, hopefully this week still, before we encounter any more rain and cause any more damage than has already occurred. Trying to protect the cemetery at the same time, or prevent any damage to the cemetery. So this is part of that emergency fix that we just maybe try to. So today it almost does like an L, right? It goes to the east, then it goes north right by the cemetery and outlets into the Goose. We're potentially looking at something that would kind of cut it across the field diagonally and try to get it away from the cemetery and keep going. There's a lot of groundwater movement in there. So we've got a geotechnical engineer out that's going to be visiting the site later today, kind of give us maybe some recommendations on what's going on. So water's going through that pipe, water's going through the ground, just a lot of water. So that's on drain 11. Drain 2, there's erosion at the outlet of that legal drain around County Road 11. It is flagged. We'll be inspecting that and looking to include that in some of the damages, a full inspection of all our legal drains. There are other drains like drain 3, that outlet has been washed out on the township road. Then there's a number of other legal drains that have experienced a lot of erosion and issues, washouts. Moving to our dam structures, the Elm River Dam and Steele County Dam, it is going over the emergency spillway. It has been going for about 4 or 5 days now. The Upper Maple River Dam, that for the first time started using its emergency spillway. So there's 2 big concrete drop structures there. Started going over that over the weekend. If you are curious and if you haven't been out there before, we've got some drone footage out there. You can send me an email or text or something. I can maybe send you a link or something if you're interested, if you can't get out there. Emergency action plan has been activated there, just notifying the sheriff and some of the kind of keeping people on standby, if you will, contractors. But no concerns at this point.
Not for Barb down there in the corner.
Correct. Yep. And,
that's a worry for her, I know.
Correct. Yep. And we've been in touch with her. No issues at this time with Barb's. Moving on out of the flooding into the Golden Lake project, the Golden Lake water quality study that was completed. We met with the park board members, the water board. I think Game and Fish was there. Basically, what we found there is no surprise. There's water quality issues. The fix that is needed, it's kind of spendy, anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million to help reduce the the algae blooms. And basically what causes that is the total phosphorus. So as that group decided, they're looking to create a lake management board or create a lake management plan. And that group will start to meet here this year, probably continuously, and basically develop a plan that looks at revenue, potential assessments, structures, what needs to be replaced, what could be done about water quality, and just develop a plan. Kind of at this point, there's just so many things that are going on. Where do you dedicate your resources and your priorities at? So that group will be kind of made up of similar park board, lake association, water board will be involved just a little bit. So that's what's happening on Golden Lake. The Elm River Dam project, where we're looking to improve that dam site, the Steele County Dam. That design and permitting has started. We got funding from the State Water Commission to start the design and permitting for that. So State Water Commission kicked in their 60%. We also got the Red River Joint Water Resource District funding for that as well. And they actually increased their normal amount. Normally they'll fund 65% of what the state doesn't contribute. We got them from the 65 all the way to 90%, which is almost unheard of, but it's a retention project. It's very important. Quite frankly, the alternative potentially was to breach the dam because it's got so many issues. And so the Red River Joint, which the Steele County Water Board is a member of, all agreed that this was a good project, along with the Augusted Dam and Trail County, to make those improvements to basically get them in compliance with today's state standards. On top of that, we did also apply for Cass County sales tax funding to help with the local cost share. And Cass County Sales Tax Committee met 2 weeks ago and they approved our cost share request. And so the total project cost that we estimate for both the improvements on the Steele County Dam and then the Augusted Dam in Trail County, both those two dams, we estimate the total cost to be 3.1 million. What's coming back to the assessment district is only 1.5%, or about $47,000 on a $3.1 million project. So very good cost share that we've received from the state, Red River Joint, and Cass County Sales Tax. So design and permitting, like I mentioned, is started on that. That'll continue all this year. If everything goes well, we'll be looking to start construction on both dams next year. Basically a one-year construction period to have all that wrapped up by fall of 23, end of next year. I think that's all I got for the commission. So if any of the commissioners have any questions, Water Board and I can take those.
I know one of the issues we did talk about at you guys' emergency meeting was some of these structure controls. That's something that I think we all can work together to try to figure out, who's controlling them, when they get open, when they get closed, all that stuff too. And I think that's something we need to work together to definitely see or who wants to be in control of them. So we don't get the finger pointing around the table. Well, that is that. Well, this is the criteria that needs to be met before we open it, or vice versa. So
Yep. Agree
so
with
everybody's kind of on the same page.
Absolutely. No, that makes sense.
This is the site of right now. What were we talking about? The one at Elm River? One on the highway?
Yeah.
That's one of them.
That stays closed until the water proceeds from the dam.
Reed's already taken it off, right?
Yeah, you guys are made aware of that. I guess, we did have problems at that site west of the Elm River Dam where, Reed closed the gate and it found its way open overnight a couple times. And then he pulled the wheel. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. So he did pull the wheel. He has it now. He's in control of it. But that won't be open until water recedes away from the dam, from the pool area. That dam, of course, or that gate as you're all well aware, is to protect drain number 2, which is an assessed legal drain. And if that gate is not closed, it'll push water back onto that structure, and then of course it will be a problem. As Lyndon stated, you know, we do have kind of a scour spot all the way down on County Road 11. You know, so we just don't want any excess water coming through there.
How you guys can drain to A for flood control of their water? Well, when we start getting water from Elm River Dam, that water goes out of control. So you're literally pushing water on the people that are paying that water control. Through that device up there, water is supposed to run through that culvert going south. What happens is it gets so much back pressure on the south side, it starts pushing north. That's why that control structure. I know you guys might hear from the farmers around there thinking it's got to relieve that pressure. But you can't put water in our drain. So we can't combine water different watersheds. As of the control structure, counties, then
It's in the county right away, again, it's managed by the county superintendent, but it was paid for by the water board. So I mean, I guess I don't know the best way to describe it. We're fine with Reed controlling it.
And you guys will be able to work that out to when it needs to be opened and.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we're fine, we're 100% fine with Reed having control of that. And,
okay,
you know, I guess we just sort of stay closed from here on out until water recedes it from the solar panel.
yep, I think that's fine. Get it in the notes. So when this board's not here, our board's not here.
no.
In 15 years from now, the new boards know who's in control of it. So that's gotta be put a big red letter someplace.
And we're very hopeful with that new project that's gonna happen over summer 2023, that it'll alleviate some of that pressure and help those folks upstream of that dam. It's been very contentious, and I'm sure you guys have been called. and
Is it empty?
It's a very tough situation, but yet, like when it's reported, there's a lot of funding partners that came to the table and really stepped above and beyond.
Yeah. It's gonna be the same with Golden Lake structures. It already is right now. These are Fairgrounds pasture. Who's in control of it? Park board? Park board?
That's the whole question right there. That's the question. Who is? Nobody is. I used to open them in the summertime. We'd open up the Luther Miracle one so we could flood Golden Lake, or not flood, but so we could bring water to the lake. And then in the fall, we'd always shut it. And then so that way we didn't flood out Rush Lake Road. Well, now the gate at Golden Lake is shot, so it runs there all the time, which this year it needed to run, but and also the gate at Luther can go wide open. Took all that water that we didn't need to.
We don't know whose jurisdiction is. It's the water board. A couple years ago, got Golden Lake thrown in as a request to start. Now I remember a long time ago when we first got on this board, we were wondering who was going to control just the structure right at the lake. And it's not our water. I think it should be the park.
Well, I think that maybe that's something that can get decided, you know, when they come up with that lake management plan.
Maybe it should be that.
Well, yeah, at least.
Well, I think, you know, when we started back many years ago, the water board got involved because it was water. So we wanted some help with the water board.
Sure.
The state, ultimately, they were involved with the game and fish and the water commission, and they basically washed their hands of it all.
Sure.
So, you know, I think at the time, the reason the water board was thrown in, it was, we just wanted some guys that dealt with it all the time to help with it.
Absolutely, yeah. No, you know, we're gonna help in certain ways that we can, and of course, financially.
Yeah, yeah, and that's our biggest issue right now. We got gates that they're shot, that we can't stop the water from going into Golden Lake. We got a long road ahead.
Yes, I think that lake management group, but, you know, it's gonna have a lot of heavy lifting to do with it, how organized. You know, the ducks in a row to figure out how they want to manage it up there.
Right, but that doesn't help with what's happening at moving rear right now. That one does work.
Does work, and it was open and we shut it.
So as park board and county commissioners have returned. Somebody's got to be in charge of it. People are opening it and shutting it. I've been getting calls on it.
Well, there's really no, there's no entity out there that says when it opens and when it closes. Nobody's got that power, really. Nobody's been designated that power. The only reason we did what we did was because that made sense at the time. So I think until we figure something different out, then we maintain that.
Makes sense. So I don't-
Maintain what, the gates, making sure they're closed and open?
Yeah, because I don't care who does it, but, and I don't care when it's gonna be done or not. I mean, that's all up for discussion, which, whatever. Somebody needs to have the say on who goes up and spins that, instead of shutting open. Because I could go do it, and then Richard 2 days later can shut it. You know, and it doesn't-
We need to take some, whoever does open and close those things, we need to, because people do that.
Exactly.
We need to
Oh,
take the
yeah.
wheel off, or we need to
We need to take.
put some
the
big
wheel off.
locks
So
on there or
I
something.
think, you know, mostly what we discussed at the meeting too is, you know, when that board gets put together, Josh just said, you know, they should maybe appoint somebody there to run that. I mean,
Yeah. Well, until.
you're
then,
right there too. I mean, that's,
I can shut them
You
and
know what I
lock them
mean?
and do
It's
everything
just-
until
we need
we figure it out.
that's, and I think that when that board gets together and say, okay, Richard, you're doing it, or this guy over here is gonna do it, and then that's end the story. So then we got somebody's
Somebody's got to do it.
gotta do it.
Somebody's got to do it. Now, the park board just runs just the
lease lots in the store.
lease lots in the store. Do they run the pavilion on the other side?
Nope, that's the improvement association.
That's the improvement association. Okay, see, I don't even know who all runs everything out there anyway, so.
Well, I think the park board maybe should be in charge of it, but again, the water board should be involved as well.
Advising.
Yeah.
Understand.
But I think we should, until we figure out different, we keep them closed in the summer until Golden Lake needs water. I know it's not the best water, but at least they get water.
Yeah.
Open them up again in the fall to make sure it's drained down, shut them in the fall, so we can have runoff and until we come up with a good plan.
Okay.
It's not, I know it's not good water going in there, but at least nobody's getting flooded out. If you go up to Golden Lake right now, there's a lot of beaches getting flooded out. It's 2 feet high.
So until.
Board is board, who's in charge of it right now?
I'll watch it, but yeah, I'll watch it until we get aboard.
That's it.
But we need to put locks or get those.
Yep.
We need
Take
to,
the drink off.
if we can.
On that. Get out of there.
Isn't it the end of July that next meeting? Yeah, I think July 20th or 21st, I think is when that.
I don't think anybody's gonna open that gate now. It's Luther's. Anybody from the lake anyways. That's usually who does it. People around the lake. Because they're about 2 feet high right now. Yeah. I'll go up there and check it out.
Any other questions for us?
Do we have any dollar figure on the gates there at Golden Lake on replacing them?
I think we should, well, I mean, the bad thing is the water from Rush Lake is not good water. I mean, if you look at quality wise, water for recreation, at least get them so they have water to boat in is that's all they got. Would it make sense to get a price figured out or an estimate roughly for the culvert replacement in the Golden Lake from Rush Lake? You know, they don't need two culverts there. One culvert would be sufficient. One crank gate or.
Is that something that you guys are wanting to see us sooner rather than later, or get pulled off for a little bit?
Well, I don't remember who's got the money.
Well, that's why I'm bringing it up. Mitigation side of things, we're actually having our next mitigation planning meeting to update our county mitigation. We're gonna have the team come to this like water board, whatever they're called. We're gonna have them come to that meeting and have some discussions with them, because a lot of those structures, all that stuff, can be included underneath the mitigation side of things. So as long as we have it as a project in our plan, we can include it in our request to FEMA. Again, it's gonna be, it'll be a drawn out process, which is like the Bridgman Rent's place, it's a drawn out process, but there's also gonna be a lot of money coming up. You know, if we have an $80 million disaster, a lot of mitigation money coming up after that. So we put the project for my opinion.
Well, it sure can't hurt. We have nothing really slated for it. I mean,
But if this was something that you wanted done like tomorrow, then we just.
no, I mean, nobody's got the money to fix it tomorrow.
Right. Something else for the future.
That all gates, is there one that Lake Tobias into?
There is.
Okay, what are we doing to that one?
That's ours.
That's yours? Okay, perfect.
We'll leave it there.
Did Joe call you a couple times on that? What is, so when that runs over the south end, is that okay, or what are we doing on that? So if I get calls again, I want to tell them what the rules are.
So the intent on Golden Lake, we replaced that structure a couple years ago, the inlet structure, and replaced the 4 outlet culverts. So the inlet structure, it's 1 culvert, and then the outlet structure, 4 of them. And so that'll be able to be maintained, basically run itself, if you will, so that.
So if it's running over the back to the south end of the lake, do we shut the gate or we just leave it?
Just leave it. Is what we're planning to do. Just leave it. If the lake bounces, high a foot or 2 or something is abnormal, then maybe just notify the water board, and then we can coordinate with Reed and Brady, and see if we need to close it. But it seems like that gate can just remain open. Again, it's 1 culvert.
I think it's the first time it actually ran through this spring.
Yep, you're right. Yep. It's been operating the way it's supposed to. So the structure, everything was installed good.
Okay. Any other questions for the water board or water board
I got
questions
one
for
question
us?
for you guys. We didn't talk about it at our meeting yet, but I remember Lance was involved. You guys remember who was in charge of cleaning the outlet on like North Gold? North end of the-
I think on North Golden,
Yeah.
you know what, I think the last time we did that, I think Curtis Bowl paid us to do that.
Yeah, Curtis told me to ask because he remembered Lance was involved. So.
I'm pretty sure I billed Curtis Curtis Bowl to do that. But it shouldn't be his responsibility.
He said him and Lance burned the cattails in there when Game and Fish wouldn't do anything about it.
Yep. I remember that.
Okay.
Renee Rayner came up to our meeting as a member of the Improvement Association, because they were taking lead on that.
I mean, it probably needs some attention.
It does need to be dug out. Because that there also is running back south again, going back to County Road 19.
Into drain one.
If those gates would have been shut at Luther's, though, that gate would have probably helped a little bit. I mean, still, but it's still running full bore today. Even.
Still going across.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Lot of water problems.
Yeah, you could drive along just south of Colgate.
What do they got left, haven't they now, or-
They've got one that's drained and it goes into those white pipes that come and they pump it out. Well, it's been all tiled. And it's running across, running out of that pipe. The ditches are full on both sides of 38. And the water is still running. And the pipe, you don't even see the pipe. It's underwater.
So Richard, that Luther Bierke, what he's talking about, that's just west of.
Part of Beaver Creek between Chuggers and Luther's. There's a gate there that, when you open that, it'll run right into.
Was that guy that taxidermy guy? What is his name?
Oh, Ron Gore?
Is that just west of Ron Gore?
No, you know where Luther's farm is?
Yep.
It's right between Luther's and Chuggers. That's actually
Oh.
right kind of southwest of Luther's on his side.
Water. Everybody, it's just an issue.
Yeah.
You know, some people, they want to get rid of it and the rest. But that Elm River Dam out there, that's coming from right on the west side of Page. Don Garnis is pumping his water out of that field and it's going down the road and going north. Isn't it going over now?
Yeah, it's going over.
It is.
I guess I don't understand the.
There's no control on that pipe underneath.
Yeah.
And then they talked about getting rid of it. That was the last topic. They were gonna blow the whole thing out and be gone. But then what's that gonna do to the one in Trail County?
Do you know Joel, just in this last rainstorm? Rain said it was downstream for that, 1 more foot of water and this farmstead's gone. But they can't take that down.
No.
Not only does Joel, but it's gonna go around, it's gonna get really else.
Yep.
You're looking at 2 farmsteads, they get crazy on that thing.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
They say whiskey's for drinking.
But look at all the, but still look at all the ditching. That's the issue with that. The quarters of land that were involved with that dam when it was put in have now multiplied tremendously.
So the gate to the west, that they put underneath the road, the gate is underneath 5 there.
Yep.
Is it only out there?
Yep.
Am I?
3 or 4 years ago, when all that water come back from Scotland. Read that pipe, just will clear up. Which won't get me, I said way high. but
Yeah.
come all the way back up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
something.
great.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Sorry about that.
No?
No,
I kind of a crazy day.
yeah.
So the health equity grant was extended to May of 2024. I talked to each of you individually. Catherine. Catherine was not able to commit to stay on board until May of 2024. That's a long time away. And so I'm proposing that we hire, and I don't know how you guys want to go about that exactly. If you want to post for the administrator position, if you want to post for my position, if you want to post for both and see what you get. We have, the other thing is if you guys want to post the health equity position, I suggest opening it up to an LPN as well. There's nothing that I'm doing that an LPN can't. Lots to think about, and there's a lot to discuss. And we should probably make a decision, at least what we're posting and what we're hiring, what we're doing there today.
you guys mysteries as well.
Catherine looked at the grant documents and is it restrict to RN only, or is it anyone who can provide those services, whatever license they have?
Anyone who can provide those services. Catherine wanted an RN. Because it had been discussed at the time initially that an LPN would not get paid enough. So there probably wouldn't be much interest. However, in the interest of potentially finding someone for it, if we open it up to a broader scope, it might be easier to fill that position.
My suggestion would be open to both.
Well, I think is what we want to do is we want to get a public health nurse settled in first. Obviously. We'd want a public health nurse settled in first.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so then they could be, vital part in hiring that second piece. So I think that's we need to decide if you guys want to open up that health or the public health nurse position, run that in the paper, see what applicants we get, go through that process, then move on from there, get that person hired, then move on and open up, start with the health equity coordinator position. Secondly.
She's willing to help out until we have someone hired and onboarded for, an administrator. So.
How much money was that grant, Emily?
We have not, so we can have up to $75,000 in additional funding. Initially, I don't know off the top of my head how much we got. That would be the question I'd have to get answered from Kevin. We did apply for the additional $75,000 in funding for the extra year. I believe that's gonna come back in about a month, is what I was told in our meeting yesterday. Those decisions on how much is going to each public health meeting. I have the original as 125,000. Does that sound right? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
For how many years? For what, just that 1 year?
Just, right.
1
Just
year?
Till what, next May? Is that when the original one ends? With next year? One is until June.
June of 20.
June of, okay, yep. So June of next year, and they moved it to May of 24 now.
What do we want to do as far as commission? Post Catherine's job, or we want to give everything to Emily here, or what do we want to do?
See recommendations. Both of them. Okay. You guys think?
Yep. I think that's fine.
Charlie, you're gonna handle that, correct? Or, yeah. I mean, Emily's may be out on leave. I mean,
Yeah, let's work through, I mean, I'm not privy to it. So,
Is there certain qualifications that have to be included in on this? So,
So there is a pre-written set of qualifications in a document I have saved already from previous postings that I can get you guys
For the DON or the.
for the DON and. So I can get-
So I think we start with the DON first, and then we move on to the health equity, because I want the DON to be part of that process and getting that person in their office. That'd be really good. You guys can set the time frame and if we have interviews, we'll work through all that.
but as of now, then Emily is acting
Absolutely.
nurse, right? Till that, so. We have to post a salary that we are looking at in that.
I don't think we ever did before.
I don't know, I'm just asking, so. I didn't remember what we'd done before, so just.
And to invite the candidates, you might want to think about putting in like minimum would be this per hour. What is it again? Clinical setting.
In a clinical setting, anywhere from 20 to 22.
So you see what I'm getting at? You can think about that, because that way. You're gonna know whether they're attracted to the job because, in part because I was, you're paying you what? As the 28. So. you see what I'm getting at? Post minimum would indicate that can increase upward depending on. Do you guys think that would be more inviting to?
What's Catherine? What's she making?
25 for what she's doing for us right now?
No,
Or what, her new job?
no,
Her old
what
job.
she did,
Her old
her old
job.
job.
Is the DON. She was planning on coming up here at about 11:50. Grab some paperwork. I don't know if you guys will be around.
Well, let's get that put together. And then, word it the best to get interest applicants. And then I think I missed, you're talking about a minimum.
Yeah, I think I was thinking in my own head about the health equity.
So let's work for the
Right.
DON first.
Right.
That's what we need to
So
do.
that's what you were getting at, Richard, is what was Catherine, because that would kind of be where we're at.
Yep.
Well, but I think she got paid a little more too, because she had some more qualifications.
Why don't I talk to her and I'll.
I can tell you, if you give me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
What we could do is she could get increased, we can go back down to what's the minimum we're
Possibly.
gonna offer. Put that in there and say. Increase upward depending on
$30.20 an hour.
what you think. With that, you said, Richard, that was more than,
I just going off memory, I think it was.
I'll take a note.
So, right?
Right,
Yeah.
That's just dividing.
divided by the
Right.
general 8 to 4:30 guidelines.
Right. We're just run it for 2 weeks then, or? Or you two are gonna decide and go from there?
2 weeks.
Longer, or whatever you guys feel.
Yep.
Okay. So Emily and Charlie figure that out and we'll go from there and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Now I'll just go have that date.
Induction is scheduled for Thursday,
Are you getting a
so.
new sister or a new brother? Or don't you know?
Charlie's talking to you.
Are you getting a new sister or a new brother? Brother?
Thank you guys.
Thank
you.
Okay, anything else? Need a motion for approval of bills?
So moved.
We
Got a
had,
motion
we
on
needed a
that?
motion though to approve,
I just talked to her, she's gonna wait and submit the bill at the end of next month, so we're not worried about
okay. Sorry,
Oh, is that on?
adding the mileage and stuff for.
Oh. For
that.
us.
Yeah.
Yes, but like I said, she's gonna wait and submit at the end of next month. Yeah, so
Okay. We have a second on approval of bills?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion
One-
carried.
One last thing, I know this past month you guys had, well, 3 of us ended up going to that HR conference. My suggestion would be that the 3 of us that went sit down with Charlie or somebody and discuss what we gained from that conference. I mean, if we just go and don't implement anything from it, these trainings are not productive or cost effective.
we can do that when we meet about the other stuff. Because-
Me and Carly and Jenny, or Jenny went to the first day.
I think that'd be a good idea to with everybody on it and stuff. Moving forward.
Put that on part of our discussion.
Yep. Any other business? I will reach out to Myron Broder and let him know about that. Yeah, and so everything. You- So. Okay, anything else?
Don't look at me.
Motion to adjourn, we got a first. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Meeting is adjourned at.
See ya. I know how to get to my house. Okay, do a nice job now when you put it up. I want to, face it nice. See you, Jay.